Hey all, welcome to this week's episode of the Shut Up, Get Up podcast. I'm your host, Mike Muldoon, and today I'm going to talk about something interesting. I just want you to stay with me on this one. I want to talk about why, let's step back here. A lot of my generation, I'm Gen X, has this issues with the younger generation, right? We're always talking about the Millennials and Gen Y and the Gen that came after us or in between the other ones about, this sense of entitlement they have, that they're just expect things to be given to them. And it should be very clear right now, I am not at all jumping all over the Millennials or Gen Ys or all the other gens in between X and where we are now, because to be honest with you, I think my generation, Gen X, is actually partially to blame for all this. And you're probably thinking, Mike, what do you mean? What do you mean? Gen Xers, we were crazy. We went out. We stayed out of the house all day long. We left in the morning. We didn't come home at night. Mike, we played in places that had paint chips. We rode bikes. We scraped our knees. We just played. We were crazy. We were just adventurers. That's what we did. Gen Xers, we were wild. We didn't want to sit home and play video games. And we were tough. And we played football and sports and any other sport. We were just wild and crazy. And we like to just be out in the world. And that's what we did. How could we be to blame for all this? 2 words. Participation trophy. All right, guys. So again, I'm Gen X. I grew up in a time where we played outside all the time. We didn't, we had video games, a joystick and a red button. We, left our homes. We explored. We played in woods. We were just crazy. We just didn't want to be at home. We used to make excuses why we couldn't be there. We like to run around, play Dungeons and Dragons, freeze tag, build forts, steal wood to build ramps. Well, I don't know. Maybe some kids did that. I'm just saying. Maybe I knew a few. It doesn't make a difference. Who cares? We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to incriminate anybody here. But what I'm saying is, that's the generation. But we were also raised by parents, right? Who I was fortunate enough. I had good parents, they worked really hard. They were kind, but don't get me wrong, like they kept us in line. And, Gen Xers, we were raised by a generation of people who, had mottos like, just rub some dirt on it. When you got hurt, just rub some dirt on it. You're going to be okay. We probably weren't babied as much as maybe, it might have been like borderline abusive. We were probably the last generation too, where our parents could actually take a hand to one of our tushes if we weren't behaving correctly, right? And to be honest with you, my parents would hit my butt, and it kind of kept me in line a little bit. But anyway, I'm not here to debate any of that stuff. But what I'm saying is that was our generation. We grew up with the rub some dirt on it. We had a lot of tough love, and I think that's kind of where it went. See, I think what happened was as we grew up. And maybe we started having kids, or, my kids are still very young. But we started realizing, well, we don't want our kids to be like that. We want our kids to express their emotions. We want them to be free with it all, which is great. I think everybody should express their emotions. I don't think nobody should ever hold back on their emotions. I don't believe that there's a weak person for showing emotion. It's, emotion is human nature. To deny it is to cut off partial the human existence. But what I'm saying here is I think, at some point we're like, well, it was a little competitive when we were younger. It was a little crazy when we were younger. Wouldn't it be great instead of just one team getting trophies, they all got trophies, right? Every kid who just shows up and puts their best foot forward gets a trophy. With probably the thought process that every kid was going to try to put their best foot forward and earn that trophy. And we came to realize some kids don't even want to put a foot out and don't even want that trophy, but they're forced to take that trophy, right? Because they participated, right? They had to have the trophy. Or in sports, our generation seemed to have come up with we're not going to keep score. In these young kid games, there is no winners. There is no losers. Everybody's a winner just for showing up. But see, here's the problem. Those kids grew up. Now, let me say this about the millennials and Gen Z and all that. First off, again, this is not at all, this is not a knock on any of them. Because let's be honest, you are probably one of the smartest and most intelligent generations that have existed in all of mankind. You are brilliant. You are entrepreneurs. You can do more than most people can. You have these talents, these skills, and these mindsets. But I think, again, where we have failed you is there's a great many who just think, well, because I'm here, I should get. Because I showed up, I should have. I see this in my work life. Young people who feel like, well, I don't have to work as hard because why do I want to work so? I should just I'm here. That should be enough. And what a lot of people eventually find out, it's not enough. Just showing up isn't not enough. Putting in minimal effort is not enough. And again, our generation weakened you. We just said, hey man, just come by. You're going to get a nice shiny trophy. Hey man, just come on over. But you know what? It's cool because you're not going to win. You're not going to lose. You're going to get something just for showing up, just for being here. But the thing is, in the real world, that's not how it works. Now, we're not of our parents' generations where we all got to go work real hard with our hands all the time. I mean, some people do. I mean, there's still a lot of jobs out there that require that. But we still have to show up and do it and do the work. And the most successful people are the ones who are willing to do that. So for the generations, and again, look, I'm not saying there's not, a certain level of entitlement that's passed through every generation. And I don't even mean, entitlement might be too hard of a word, but there just seems to be this expectation that because I'm here or I showed my face or I'm doing, I should just get. And again, it's just not how it works. So, and I apologize on behalf of Gen Xers who came up with these rules, who said, come, get your trophy. Come, don't worry, we're not going to win school. You're not going to know what it feels like to lose. You're not going to know, then again, what it feels like to win. I mean, I know for me, some of my best memories, even when I was a kid, I still remember being on a baseball team. I was on the Knights of Columbus, and we beat the Sons of Italy. Sons of Italy were undefeated that year up until they played the Knights of Columbus, who were just a decent average team. And we won. And I still remember it. I was a kid, probably around the age now where they don't even keep score in some places. But I was a kid. I still remember that. That stayed with me. That was important to me. I still remember that. It was great. Luckily, I've had some other accomplishment in life since then. It's not my biggest accomplishment in life. But I had that, and it stayed with me. But here's an awesome thing. See, if you're going to be around or competing in a world where a lot of people just expect that if they show up, they should get, well, then you're kind of in a position right now where, well, maybe I'll just show up a little bit more. Or you know what, I'll just step up a little bit more. I'll put a little bit more effort into this. I'll be a little bit more of a team player. But you're going to see yourself rise a lot faster than some of your peers who are just simply sitting there going, well, I'm here. Why is he getting it? Meanwhile, that guy's working twice as hard. Well, he's getting it because he's out there. He's willing to earn it. And again, let me back up here. I'm not knocking the generation. I'm just saying if you look around and you do a little self-assessment, there seems to be a little bit of this expectation that because I'm here, I should have. But I'm saying you're also at a great point where, the baby boomer generations and Gen X's, it was all about work hard. Now, the best thing about your generation is you've actually showed society, no. There is more to life than just working hard. There is a need to have a life. And because of that, your generations have actually forced companies to reevaluate their culture, reevaluate their viewpoint of just, we're just all cogs in a machine and we just get churned out and burned out. Now they're all, there's a lot of heavy emphasis on mental health and wellness, days off, vacation, time away, so many great little opportunities that, or some of these organizations have put together so that, mental health and wellness has been addressed. So for that, we are all thanking you for that. But what I'm saying is just showing up isn't enough. And I'm not saying you have to kill yourself, but the thing of it is, if you work a little bit harder and a little bit smarter than people, you might see that this is an awesome opportunity for you to advance quicker than some of your peers out there. Because right now, and I see this as somebody out, my workforce, it's hard finding a younger generation who's willing to put in the work or work a little bit hard without having this expectation. Well, I did this. Where's this? Well, I did this. Where's this? But it's like, well, you only did a little bit, like we expect a little bit more than that. So great, amazing opportunities out there for advancement. It's like also, if you just look at the job market right now, one of the best things about your generation as well is that you can make money anywhere. When I was a kid, you had to go apply for a job. Hopefully somebody calls. Sometimes you even had to look in a newspaper to get that job. Well, now you got internet. Now you've got, just people advertising all over the place. You've got so many different ways to make money and make income. But let's just say you're somebody who just says, you know what, I'm going to go work at that place over there. Well, again, what you're going to see is if you put in a little bit of effort, your advancement's going to move quicker than some of your peers who are just sitting there going, well, I don't want to do anymore. I just want to do this. And you will advance. So again, your generation is the smartest, most creative, most intelligent, let's be honest, in a lot of different ways. It's the most entrepreneurial generation, but it's also a generation that is very ripe for others who don't know really what they want, who aren't going to be entrepreneurs, who aren't going to be running their own companies, who aren't going to be developing their own things, to actually step into an organization, into a company, and advance very, very quickly by simply just showing initiative and putting in a little bit of extra work in a world where most companies, even that little bit of extra work, is probably going to get you more days off. So anyway, on behalf of Generation X, I apologize for the creation of the participation trophy, which has seemed to have handheld a bunch of you. And I think going forward, we have to figure out another way. Get up.